everyone. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Anna Milne with the Flourishing Moms Tribes, where we do podcasts, one-on-one coaching, and have a supportive community on Facebook. We help moms through guilt, through stress, and through overwhelm. Today I have Kristen with me. She is a Ramsey Solutions Master financial coach. You're a coach. Who specializes in helping young families develop and strengthen their money management skills and eliminate debt and create a plan for sending their kids to college debt-free. She is fueled by her passion to help others succeed and become financially free. Today we're going to be chatting about all things financial, from budgets to savings accounts, and then we're going to get some really good tips on how to start saying I can do that rather than the mindset of I can't afford that. So welcome, honey. I am so happy you're here and diving into this huge topic.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
So, tell us a little bit about, maybe we'll start off first on what is a financial coach?
Well, a financial coach, in short, is someone who helps you to get your money in order through different forms, but through education, through developing tools, and through accountability. There are financial coaches that specialize in so many different things. There are some that are just, specialize in everybody. There are the ones who specialize in business, families like I do, teenagers, college education. There's really so many different ways in what they do, but debt elimination is one of the main reasons that people do come to us to get started. Mm-hmm. And then we really grow, and our end goal is to teach them how to build wealth.
Now, how did you find yourself in this journey of becoming a financial coach?
Gosh, well, as everybody, it's always a really long story.
Yeah.
It's not what I went to college for. I went to Penn State for hotel, restaurant, and institutional management, and I was a restaurant GM for years. But in 2013, I had found myself making a very good living wage, and I was living paycheck to paycheck and beyond. I didn't know where my groceries were going to come from the next week. I didn't know where my money was going. I had no clue. Like, here it was, I had made $50,000 or $60,000 the prior year, and I had nothing in savings. I had nothing to pay my groceries with, like, for lack of short. So, it really started with my own personal journey and figuring out how to get out of debt the best way. And I stumbled upon Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
And are you familiar with him? I never even asked.
No, I've never even heard of it. So we can explore that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Dave Ramsey, he's a finance guru, and a personal finance guru, excuse me. And he has a radio show and a podcast, which is where, I certainly got started, and I just started listening to him. He's very motivating, talks about getting out of debt and being very radical about it. Mm-hmm. It was incredibly motivating, and I decided that I had been sick and tired of being sick and tired. I had my moment where I had broken down. So with my own story, to keep it as short as I can, really, I went off the hook and I started selling everything that I could. I looked into picking up second jobs, but that really wasn't cohesive with my main job. But I sold things left and right on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. I'd be meeting people 5, 6, 7 times a week. Every $10, $20, or $30 that I made, I put it onto debt. So it would come in my hands and leave it right away. So I had no choice to do anything else with it.
Yeah.
And I learned how to do a zero-based budget, a true zero-based budget, which I think is the key to getting your finances and personal finances under order. And with all of that, I was able to pay off just over $26,000 in debt in 9 months.
Wow.
I really sold a lot of that. That was not all income. That was selling a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it all started there, and I really just had increasingly passion to show other people how to do it.
Mm-hmm. And now you mentioned, what was it? A zero-based
budget.
Yeah. What is that?
What a lot of people think when they think of budgeting is you think that I'm going to lay out my bills, and here's what I have: my mortgage, my electric, my gas, whatever it might be, and then that's what my budget is. Those are my bills. So I have all this money that I don't have to spend that's left over. And a lot of people look at that and say, okay, well, now I have $800 to do everything else. That's awesome. Great. But what you forget is that you have food. You have,
right.
you want to go out to eat sometimes. You forget that you have haircuts. You forget that you have pet food to buy. You forget that you have all these little incidentals that we just don't think about. A party coming up, a wedding coming up, a hotel room to get for that wedding, whatever it might be. And so a zero-based budget is listing out every single item that you're going to do for that month and making a plan.
Right.
And it sounds like a very daunting task, but really once you learn and you sit down with somebody who shows you, I have in my budget, I have a spreadsheet that I send out to my clients. So it's a list of, they see probably 50 or 60 items. So they look through as they're sitting down and doing their budget before the month begins. And they think, do I have that this month? Do I need a haircut this month? And it helps them to really think about it and be proactive in their spending and their plans.
Right. Yeah, and it's good because often we think, oh, it's a budget. It's going to be, oh my gosh, it's going to tell me I can't do this, I can't do that, and And the budget's got this negative.
It does. It has a negative connotation. It has a restrictful connotation to it, but in reality, it's just the opposite.
Right.
It's telling you what you can spend your money on. It's making your plan.
Yeah. And it's really kind of being more control. And I love that, the thought, as daunting as it is, to write down everything we spend money on, because when we're used to credit cards and used to debit cards and used to all that, it's we don't realize what we're actually spending money on.
No, it's so easy. It comes in our hands and it goes right back out. It's so easy at the end of the month to say, where did that just go? We make so much money and we have no idea what we spend it on.
Yeah.
And this is telling you what you spend it on.
Yeah. Now, we talked a bit, and I saw the post that you just did, and I absolutely love it. And it's the envelope system. Now, shed some light on what kind of that, I love it.
Yes. You said you personally have been using it in your life.
Yeah, I totally have used it for quite a while. And what I do is I have, my food envelope, my gas envelope, whatever, I have it, and it only comes out from there.
Yes, exactly. So the beginning of the month, you're setting your budget and you're saying that we're going to spend $400 on groceries, $400 on gas, and whatever your categories are. With the envelope system, you take the categories in which you shop in stores, the most frequently, and rather than keeping that on a card and swiping your card when you go to the stores, you take out the cash at the beginning of the month or the beginning of your pays, depending on how your cycles are, and you put it into an envelope corresponding. So when you get to the grocery store, you have X amount of cash to spend for that week. And what happens is that if you go over, you have to put it back. So you and I were just talking about this, and how do you avoid going over and that pure embarrassment of, oh my gosh, it's $214 and I have $200. One of the other coaches that I work with gave me a tip a couple months ago, and I love this. I don't have one, but I love this, and I highly recommend it. There are little counters that you can get on Amazon, and they're not much. I believe that they're under $10 when I looked. They're little clickers, kind of like umpires use as far as like baseball goes, and like they keep track of things. But it goes up and up and up. So you go through the store, as you put item in your cart, in your buggy, in your cart, you go ahead and check that it's $3.49. Go ahead and round up and click 1, 2, 3, 4. Every item you throw in, add your clicks for how much it is, and you should be very close by the very end of, within $5 or $10 at the most, with how much you're spending. And you can kind of gear if you need to put something back before you get to that checkout line.
Yeah.
Kind of avoid that.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit about that is, it's okay to put things back. It's not embarrassing. It's actually empowering. Hey, this is my budget. I went over it by a little bit. I'm going to put this, and this back. Because there's always something on our cart that we don't necessarily need, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. And that's one of my tips too, is just you really have to think about needs and wants. And it's not okay. It's not that we can't have wants. It's not that we can't have nice things, but there's a time and a place, and we can't let those nice things have us. there's a time and a place for trying too much. And do I need the best computer, or do I need a computer that's going to allow me to get online and do the kids' homework and get on Facebook? You know,
Yeah.
I don't need to spend $1,000 for that. It's a want.
Yes. Yeah. And just,
You know, groceries, same thing, keeping on a smaller level. You know, do I want to buy, 4 rice packets, or do I, need to? You know, there's a fine difference.
Yeah. And even with brand name versus not brand name, I mean, really, there's not really a difference. Some, I'll give you some there is. For the most part, not that much.
No, and I did a post on that months ago, but shopping generic versus shopping brand name, and the savings were over 40% by shopping at Aldi stores, which is one of our somewhat generic, super saver stores here.
Yeah.
It was over 40% savings than even shopping the generic brand at your local grocery store. It was amazing.
Oh, wow.
When I compared apples to apples. Yeah, absolutely. So being mindful of where you shop, and what you buy.
Yeah. And I think with that too, be mindful of where and when. Like, we have to, I know that there's always a panic as moms, we got to get it done. But going when everybody's hungry, kids, me, not a good mix.
No, we're going right before nap time, and then they're just not at their best behavior. So you're kind of panicking as you go through the store, like, oh my gosh, I've got to get out of here. I have had that moment more times than I really care to admit that, and you just throw some things in, just to, oh, this will be fine.
Yeah.
And then $10 or $20 that way.
Yeah. And then you get home and you still don't have anything to make meals from, because you just kind of went, okay, this will do. And you get home and you're like, I just spent $200 and I have nothing.
Yes.
So with envelopes, lists are hugely important too.
Yes, absolutely. I tell, when it comes to just groceries and saving money in groceries, I have a plan that when I work with moms, you have to meal plan and meal prep.
Yes.
But you have to make a plan for what you're making during the week. You have to make a grocery list for those items.
Yeah.
And before you get to the store, and then you can shop based on that.
Yeah. And then everything goes back to be smoother. Like, we're not shopping because we're hungry. We're not shopping, because if we're at that point, we're trying to figure out meals as we're in the grocery store, it doesn't work either. Right.
Not at all. Especially if you have kids with you during that time. But taking all of the work before you get to the store, taking the work out of it before you get to the store is the easiest way to make it smooth, make it quick, and to save the most money. Because if you're trying to decide in the middle of the store what you're going to eat and what you're going to have, you're just not going to get it all the same. It really is worth an extra hour to hour and a half of your time invested in going through what you have in your home, what you're going to make for the week, what can you use that you have. And we all have such different lives. It's so busy all the time. I mean, trying to make use of what you have is important. Trying to find meals that are easy for your family that you can crock pot before you leave the house for me, is one of the hugest tips that I've ever received. And then I bought an Instant Pot a few months ago, and that was life-changing for me for a few things that I could just get done quickly and get done in those pinches where you get home at 5, the kids have to eat, they're hungry, you're unpacking everything. They have to go to bed by 7, so you have this little window of time to get everything cooked, made, cleaned up, homework done, whatever it might be, and you want to spend time with them. So making the use of your time, figuring out your groceries, planning for it, meal planning, meal prepping, in a shorter window of time, it all comes around. It all ties in with your finances. It really, really does. And it saves you money and time.
Agreed. Yes. And so as we're heading into kind of holiday mode, what are some other suggestions that people can really start using to start saving. So the envelope system, do you recommend that when it comes to holidays as well?
Oh my gosh, yes. I actually have a free group right now on Facebook that I'm running for the holiday budgeting, and anybody that wants to group, I'm sure that we can probably link it. But it's through my Facebook page. And one of the biggest tips that I have is, yes, shopping in stores with cash for your holiday toys, but also price comparing. You know, as far as the holiday shopping goes, doing your price comparisons with the Amazon app, and there's an app called Shop Savvy.
Okay.
You can either barcode, if you're in the store and you see something, you're like, oh, should I get that now or should I wait?
Right.
You can use the Shop Savvy, and you can go ahead and scan it, and it'll come up with your local stores that are close to you and the prices that those are available, as well as your online stores and the prices that it's available. So you can make that decision right there to say, oh, well, I should buy it right now because this is a great deal, and I have this extra coupon and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Or you can say, oh, I'm going to order that when I get home off of this website because it's, $10 cheaper there.
Wow,
so
that is huge.
That app is awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
Holiday shopping, I think just like making a budget and making a plan for your money, I think that right now I'm suggesting to everybody that it's November 5th and sit down and start making your plans of who you're going to purchase for. And if you're running on a very tight budget and you're not sure where your finances are at this point in time, I think it's critical to ask you if you need to buy for those people or if you want to buy. Obviously, our kids are a different story. We want to buy and we need to buy. There's twofold.
Yes.
But when you're looking at adult families and you're looking at coworkers and everybody likes to just do, oh yeah, I'm going to get you this little gift. $5 and $10 adds up a lot everywhere. We're adults, and one of the things that I think is so empowering is to learn to just say no. No is a simple word. It's a complete sentence, and it's hard. It is so hard for us as women and as moms, I think, to say no. But it's my biggest piece of advice that I can give is to learn that is a complete sentence. And that when somebody says, hey, do you want to get on the exchange this year? It's fine if you do, and if your finances are there. But if you're really struggling, no, I'm really sorry. And we don't have to give reasons. We don't have to give excuses. No is a complete sentence.
Love that, because that really helps us to get out of that, buy me now, sucked in that we do that people pleasing, that we have to get everybody a thing. Well, Susie gave me something last year, so now I have to give her something this year.
Yes. And I'm just as guilty as everybody else is. But, it's one of those things actually I've been working on very hard myself, is just the ability to say no. And choosing, things that don't make you happy, you shouldn't involve yourself. And a lot of times those things involve money. And it comes down, hey, do you want to go grab drinks tonight? No, I don't. If that's not what makes you happy and you'd rather be at home with your kids and your husband or whatever it might be, then that's that. Or, or do you, whatever it might be. But yeah, around the holidays, I just think that really, really can play a huge effect, and it can help to reduce your stress, because we're all high stress right now for the next 60 days. Yes. I love the holidays. Thanksgiving is my favorite of them all because there are no gifts and all family. It's all about thanks, grace, and just enjoying the time. But I still enjoy, the season of Christmas and the warmth and the smells and the family and every bit of it. But it is very, very stressful for most of us.
Yes. Yeah. And I love Christmas too. And the more that we can step away from that people pleasing and getting sucked into that, because, we're all out Christmas shopping, and nothing worse than that person or myself getting angry and getting frustrated over this gift. Nobody wants a gift coming from somebody that's all angry and stressed and so much to do.
Right? Which is one reason to go back again to your list and start getting ideas for people. Because here's another thing, is that we overspend when you start to get stressed like that. And you
Mm.
get to the end and it's a week or two before and you're like, oh my gosh, I still don't have anything for my brother. And what am I going to get? And you start to get stressed out and you start to just go into buy anything mode.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you end up overspending and the prices go up the closer to the holidays we get. They'll advertise more sales and deals, but it's not the same as if you were to take your time right now and buy over the next 2 to 4 weeks.
Hmm.
You're going to save yourself a lot of money.
Yeah. Or even a heartfelt gift. I mean, I think one of the best gifts I made for my dad is, I bought little superhero and I just made a word puzzle picture from it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, you're my superhero. I love you. And then just because you fix things and have because you can buy little dollhouse toys, right?
Yes.
And just, I don't think we should ever downplay those types of heartfelt gifts.
No. Let me tell you what our standard gift is for our parents every year. And this has going for 7 or 8 years now because it's by request. So
okay.
we decided when we all became adults and we had my first niece came around that we were done doing gifts as adults because we're just trading money and whatnot. So we had the idea back then that we would do a calendar of photos. So we went into Shutterfly or Snapfish, one of the two at that time. And now we use Shutterfly, but we did that. And we started about November and we just put together photos throughout the year from that year. It was 2012 or 13.
Right.
And it was all of us kids. We did it together. Everybody's birthday month, they got to have a page all about them. And it was a lot of fun to put together, but it was so much fun to give. And when we gave that to my mom, she just cried at the photos because we don't print out pictures anymore. Who prints out pictures?
Yeah.
So it's a way she can look at her kids and now grandkids every single day. They're on her thing, and it's not like she's bragging, but she has these beautiful pictures she flips every month, and she looks at different pictures and has different memories throughout the year.
Right.
And so by request, we do that every single year now. And the best part is that we can do it for free if we start in November because Shutterfly always gives free calendar coupons throughout the year. So you start early enough and it's a free gift. I mean, how much better does it get?
So true. I love that. And it's true. We don't do pictures anymore. So to have a calendar, that's an amazing gift.
And it doesn't, even if you do pay for it, I mean, and they always have 40 and 50% off coupons, but even if you do pay for it, you're not talking about more than $20. And it's the time and the thought that went into it will mean so much more than just having gone to the checkout line and grabbed a bunch of junk.
Agreed. And be fighting for parking, fighting for cash lines and all of that stuff that we go through.
Yes. Yes.
Now, we talked about so gifts like that are huge. Envelope system. Any other tips that people can really embrace the holidays and come out in January and be debt-free?
Well, going in with the list and the plan, certainly. Yeah. The cash envelopes, absolutely. There's just, I don't know if you've seen, and this is something I don't know the exacts of it, but I've seen it last year, and it's something that I was going to work on, but keeping it simple, first of all.
Yes,
but
yes.
Have you seen like the rules of 4 for Christmas and 7 for Christmas? Something you need, something you want, something to read, something for the family.
Oh, yes, yeah, yeah.
I don't remember exactly how it goes, but there's one that rhymes, and it's like 7 things, and I think that's fantastic for kids because, and families and teens, but when you're talking about you have so many kids, keeping it simple and small in a book and little things like that, that's not going to be much. It's just, as far as keeping it debt-free, I think it's just about keeping it simple and the meaning of it.
Yeah.
One of the other suggestions I had besides that is to start a family tradition. Instead of doing so many gifts, one of the moms in one of my groups does a baking day with her kids, or days, but this thing that they look forward to, and they bake tons of cookies, and then on another week they go and they deliver them to the local fire stations, the local police stations, EMS, and they just drop off cookies for the guys and say thank you. But what kind of wonderful how wonderful is that to have with your kids in that memory? And that means so much more than them getting a $200 or $300 gift. But
Yeah.
it's not about it. It just needs to go back a little bit more to the roots, the holidays, I think. And I think that that's the key to keeping it debt free. It's just so easy to overspend and to get caught up in the hype. And if you really take it back and decide what's important to you, and maybe it is gifts. If that's it, that's okay. But I don't think it is in most of our households.
No,
I don't think it is in most of our families. I think that we want to do, we want our kids to be happy. I think that Christmas is about making sure that our kids are excited and that they're happy. And I think that we can do that in different ways beyond the gifts.
Agreed. And I was just speaking to somebody on an earlier podcast, and she said, even getting out of the comparison, like she was once getting involved in watching Pinterest and, the white Christmas and the White House. And she said, oh, that's so lovely. I wish for, she admitted, oh, I wish I had that. But then she stepped back and went, no, wait, I live in Texas. I do not want Christmas. Like that's not what I want.
Right?
Yeah. It's easy to get caught up with, that house is white and crisp and, the decorated and, that's what I want. But is it really?
Yeah. You know what? Learning to be satisfied with what we have and learning to accept we are where we're supposed to be, I think it's an important key as well in keeping it debt free and getting debt free. Learning to be content.
Yes.
Keeping up with the Joneses has gotten us into a point where we are billions of dollars in debt as society, but the average household holds on to it's more than $15,000 in credit card debt.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
The average, what was the other one? The average student loan is over $30,000 right now. And, that's a whole different topic for a whole different day, but it's crazy. And, those things it's due to lack of poor planning, not being content. I want to go to the campus where she goes. They have pretty trees. I mean, that's not all of it. Trust me, there's a lot more to it, but our problem with debt greatly lies in not being content with what we have. It greatly lies in trying to keep up with the Joneses. And moms, it is okay to not be super mom 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It is okay. And I think that that's something that we need to learn, that we don't have to give our kids everything. And it's probably not even best to hand them everything.
Right.
But they need to work for things. They need to learn on their own. They need to eat hot dogs and mac and cheese for dinner sometimes. Like, it doesn't always have to be this fancy, wonderful dinner. It's okay. You have such a hard job. You are already CEO, head chef, the chauffeur of the family, the teacher. Moms have so many hats. What did I see an article recently that if you were to take, what a mom does in one day, that their salary should be like well over $200,000 or something. It might have even been more than that. We have so much to do. Something has to give, and learning to be content is so important in the debt-free journey.
Oh, I agree. And it's what we're modeling for our kids, right? We're just passing on, not purposely, but we're just passing on our spending habits to our children.
Absolutely. More is caught than taught, we say. Yeah. They're watching what you're spending. They're watching what you're doing. My son mimics me all the time, and I have to really start being very careful. He's 2, but I have to start being very careful of what I do, because not everything can be taken the same way that I need it to be taken. And, they learn by watching us. Right.
I had this conversation the other day with my mom on, my daughter's now learning algebra, and we're like, why does she have to learn that? And my mom was saying, well, in school they need to teach budgeting and all this kind of stuff. And I said, well, Mom, that comes down to families, really. Right? Like, we need to be teaching our kids more of these things. on how to budget. What is a budget?
How to balance a checking account.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I'm having those conversations with my daughter a bit ago, and she's like, even talking to her about bank charges, having her understand that, other than, I don't understand why they're charging you money. I'm like, well, kind of, I don't either, but this is how it is.
Right.
And having those conversations with them is so huge.
Oh yeah. Before you release them into the world and they're off in college and figuring out the hard way. There was somebody I was listening to Dave Ramsey on my way in this morning, and there was a guy who had $420,000 in his college education into debt, and he couldn't even use his degree.
Oh.
So before they learn the hard way, doesn't it though? It makes you gasp.
Yeah.
But teaching them little things little by little, and from the times that they're small right through their teenage years, will prevent them from making those kind of mistakes, we hope, for most people.
Right.
You learn easy and simply small by, when you're small, going to the grocery store with mom, seeing that she pays with cash and she puts back what she doesn't have money for.
Mm-hmm.
Learn by the small lessons, by we teach give, save, and spend. You have 3 things that you can do with your money, and those are give it, save it, and spend it. That's it. So, we teach already. My son is 2. He got $1 for Halloween and like a little card from a family member, and we went to his little piggy bank and we put his dollar in there.
Yes. Yeah.
When he gets a little bit older and he wants to start wanting things at stores, we're going to take that money and he's going to physically hand it over to buy the Matchbox car that he wants to do.
Yes.
But you teach those things just in small steps, and like you said, with your daughter, you're going over banking stuff now, and it doesn't have to be big lessons. Just, hey, come here for 10 minutes, and I want to show you this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. For me, a big aha moment and why I started embracing envelope is, I forget the total scene, but basically my daughter wanted to do something. And I said, well, we don't have money for that right now. She goes, well, just get your card. Just use your card and do it. And that was her. And at that moment, I went, oh my goodness, what am I teaching her?
Yeah. Do you know that the kids' toys now have credit card slots and
yes.
They have like little cash registers and stuff and everything? The Barbies accept credit cards. It is so unbelievable. That is what we are teaching them. And that's it. And you and I were talking earlier, and the whole thing with the cash envelopes and the credit cards. I was telling you that there are a couple lessons that come from that. And the one is that when you hand over cash, you don't get anything back. With a card, it's almost like it's fine. It's infinite. You don't understand. You don't physically see that.
Mm-hmm.
But when we spend with cash, there are studies done that show that it actually activates pain centers in our brains, just like any other painful thing, because it is finite and you don't get it back, and you are handing it over in trade for a service or good that you want. That's all money is a tool. And what I do is teach people how to use that tool properly so that they don't get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You can use a hammer for good, you can use a hammer for evil.
Yes.
And money is the very same thing. And I like to teach people to use it for good and for giving and building wealth. Why? So you can give more.
Yeah.
So you can do bigger and better things, and you can help more people. And it does, though. But with handing over cash, it does activate those pain centers so that you treat it differently.
Yeah, agreed. And for those people that are saying, oh, I need a credit card for holidays, for whatever, I'm in Canada, so I know it's a thing. If you want, in the States, I have a travel visa. I can't charge things. So what I do is I transfer money to that thing. So everything I purchase online, or if I do holidays or whatever, I transfer the money onto my travel visa. Or I guess you can do a prepaid visa and you can use that. Yeah. So you don't have to get a credit card.
No, not at all. Debit card does the same thing as a credit card.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably the same thing as your travel card, your travel visa.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does the same thing, only you actually have to have the money in the account to pay for it.
Yes.
It's having the money before you spend it rather than paying up for afterwards and having like the Christmas hangover in January, all of a sudden you owe money.
Yeah.
Well, instead we're using a debit card and you're making sure that you have the money in the account before.
Which is huge. Yeah.
And a lot of the debit cards that we have too are still doing the same rewards that your credit cards will do. I hear all the time, like, oh, I get 5% cash back. Well, I mean, and that's wonderful. 5% is great, but let's put it in the reverse.
Yeah.
So Target, is the big store here, and
yes.
Target has a red card. Do you have Targets in Canada? Is that a silly question?
I'm not commenting because we had them and they left. So.
Oh no. Okay.
Makes me sad. We had them for a very short window and they all closed up. But
you knew the joy of going to a Target. Okay.
Yeah.
So they have red cards, and you sign up with a red card, whether it's a credit or you can connect it to your debit card. They say you save 5%.
Okay.
So same difference as a rewards card giving you 5%. But look at it this way: 5% on a $5.99 mug is 30 cents.
Yeah.
That's all you're saving. Getting your 5% back, buying this because you get 5% back, and using this credit card because you get that is 30 cents on a $5.99 mug. It's $5 on $100.
Right.
Is that awesome? Will I take $5 if you give it to me? Absolutely. Will I save it with a coupon? 100%. But it is not worth using a credit card and spending 18% more on average because you don't see the difference and you don't feel the difference physically. You're spending more to get that 5%, I guess, is the end answer.
Yes, we are, because we mean well. Oh, I'll buy it now, and at the end of the month, I'll just pay it off. We do mean well.
Absolutely, but that's how I ended up in $26,000 in debt. I mean, I did a credit card transfer, which was just, over to a 0% personal loan, got rid of it, paid off my credit cards, quote unquote. And, I masked the problem. And then I didn't fix the behavior that was coming from it. And then I went back and I kept using credit cards, and all of a sudden I built up that credit card again. And so now I had two loans to pay off: a personal loan that was at 12% and my credit cards. It's about fixing the behavior and changing our behavior in order to do our personal finances different. Personal finance is hard. It's not about the interest rates, and it's not about it's really not. Interest isn't our problem, and it's not always about spending. It's just behavior.
Right.
Marketing is so good. People who do marketing for these big companies like Target and Kohl's, and who else do I get emails from every day?
Old Navy.
Oh my gosh, yes, I get blown up with those. But I keep them because I want the discounts when I do want to shop there.
Yes.
They'll get you, and they'll get you good for a couple $100. I mean, if you're not careful, they are so good at what they do.
Oh, they are. And even say Walmart or Home Depot or those kind of places, any cashier, they ask you, will this be on Walmart credit card? They have a rewards program for their associates. Whoever earns the most or gets the most credit cards, I don't know what they're winning. But if you go to Walmart at customer service, it will give you a list of how many credit cards they've got each day.
Oh, yeah, because that's where they make so much of their money on those finance charges.
Yeah. So that's an interesting thing. Like, keep that in the back of your mind, that they want you to charge because they know we mean well. Because they say that, you can just pay it off at the end of the month and you get 10% or whatever back. But you know it doesn't happen that way.
Right.
We mean well. We start off well. But
we do. We do it trying to save, because you say, they'll say, you'll save 10% today or 20% today in the next month that you shop. It's sure. Okay. Yeah. I'll just do that. And like you said, I'll just pay it off. It's, but they know that you're 2 weeks sometimes to do it right.
Yeah.
There's another 20% waiting for me for this month,
Yeah, or we're not really saving because we buy more. If we spend $200, we save 10%. We do this in our mind. I'm speaking from past, and then we spend more. We're not really saving anything.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I just need to spend $11 more to save that same $11. So why wouldn't I? Or I just need to spend $11 more to save $5.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Hey, you just lost $6.
It's so crazy. So. I know. So two things like that moms listening can kind of really start. We've talked about some huge, great things. What can I really start doing now?
Okay, so to just start today, you say, okay, you know
Yeah.
what? This sounds really good. I'm done. I've had it. Start small, start
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
One, make your coffee at home starting today, tomorrow, whatever it is.
Mm.
Just start easy, moms. It's doesn't have to be a big step. It's behavior.
Yeah.
So whether it's making your coffee at home, packing your lunch, making your breakfast, just be very intentional about changing one thing and that pattern of behavior that you're doing. But a second one, we talked a lot about the cash envelopes. That really was one of my big ones, is just start paying with cash.
Yes.
Today, go to the ATM, take out what you're planning on for groceries, for dining out, for your gas, for those things that you pretty much are going in store for no matter what. And start paying with cash, and you will feel a difference almost immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I can contest to that totally immediately.
Yeah, it's just a huge point in just starting to save. And I think really one of the other biggest things that we did already talk about, but I'm just going to go back and I'm going to say it again, is that it is okay to say no.
Mm-hmm.
And just remember, it is okay to say no.
Yeah.
I think those take no planning, no organization, any of that kind of thing. Those three things take nothing else really extra out of your day to say, that's all I'm going to do. And hey, Mom, you don't need a great, huge, super envelope system. I use, and I suggest that you just use like the little banking envelopes. You know, you go to the teller and they have those little cash envelopes there.
Yep.
That they'll cash a check for you and put it in. I usually just ask for a stack full, and hey, can I have a few of these? And then I write on the top of it in a big bright marker, groceries, food, going out, whatever it might be. Decorations, I have one for, because we bought a new house last year, and I like to decorate, but I need to keep it under control. So in our budget category, we do have this, for decorating, but when it's out, it's out. Your envelope's empty, you're done spending.
Yes.
So you have to plan accordingly. On the bigger level, what you can do is you can sit down and start learning how to do a zero-based budget and really doing a proper budget. And there are tons of websites out there. There's a website called Every Dollar that has a great program, and it's free. There's one called You Need a Budget, YNAB. And that one's not free, but you get a free 30-day trial. But then I think it's like $6.99 to connect to your bank account. And then after that, there is one called Mint, and that one is free. And all three of those are fantastic. And I'm a big old spreadsheet girl. So I have spreadsheets. I'd be happy if anybody wants to contact me and ask for a spreadsheet. I will be happy to send it out to them. No problem. It's where you can just look at everything on, one-stop shopping. You can look at it, and then, everything goes and tells you when you hit zero.
Nice. I love that. So speaking of that, how can people find you?
You can find me, first of all, I'm very active on Facebook. And I have a Facebook page, and that is Financial Fitness Coaching.
Okay.
And that is my first spot. I am on Instagram as financial.fitness.coaching.
Okay.
And my website is www.financialfitnesscoaching.com. So it's pretty easy across the board, but Financial Fitness Coaching. And I am most active on Facebook just because I think it's the easiest. And then I try to share across the boards from there. But I do a few different things on LinkedIn on occasion. I do a few different things on Instagram. And I love to write, and I have different posts and blogs every week right now on my website.
Nice. By all means, guys, totally reach out to Kristen. Like, holidays, budgeting, it doesn't have to be a scary thing. We don't have to think of them as restricting and, saying we can't do things. Get a spreadsheet from her, contact her, because I love the envelope system. Like she said, it's something that we'll start right now. If you need any tips, totally reach out to her.
I try to throw a lot of free stuff on the site.
Which is good.
Yeah, I try to make it easy. So if you need stuff, you don't want the extra accountability, you're not ready for full one-on-one coaching, that is okay. I just want you to get the information that you need and information that's helpful. And I try to throw out as much as I can that is not only motivating, but is, concrete things that you can take and use.
Yes, yes. So thank you so much for joining us today, honey. This was huge, and especially as we hit towards holiday time, if we can help moms, not be overwhelmed, not stressed, that they don't have to think, oh my gosh, the holidays are coming, what am I going to do? To really kind of embrace, and what you said now, just embrace one thing, whether it's stop buying coffee out. And that's a huge thing. You think, depending on where you go, Starbucks or local coffee shop, you're saving quite a bit. So it doesn't have to be a huge thing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been fantastic to chat with you.
So thank you. And thank you guys for listening. By all means, reach out to Kristen, reach out to myself at the Flourishing Mom Tribe. And don't forget to review, subscribe, and check out all our other podcasts and share them with your friends. And thank you so much for joining us.